There's no secret sauce really. It's just about staying hungry, staying foolish, and staying honest. Staying hungry is all about being competitive. I think it's natural to most of us, but you're shaped by the environment you grew up in, the company, the department, the overall ecosystem. In the end, if you're not competitive, you're not driven, you won't remain ahead. So I think that's something that we all have to, as a matter of fact. Staying foolish is all about being curious. And for me, what I do is 16/7/365 reading, whether it's books, it's apps which have so much curated content for you and they're getting better and better, or just my Financial Times, which I've been reading every day for the last 3+ decades. So I think that's the second part of a day in a life. The third bit is all about staying true to character, the honesty with data. And I think that part is where I almost feel, and I tell my teams, make a chart every day, a new 2x2, or looking at data in 3 different axes. And it's quite interesting how you might, if you visualize data, you can find new insights, new business opportunities or risks. But I would say, to put all of it together, I think technology is a giant door which helps satiate all your curiosity and helps you be even more competitive or even more data-based. And I've always felt that there is a natural inclination, for me at least, for latching up to whatever meaningful new technology is coming up. And I think it's less about competitiveness and more about being curious, because the way it's transforming our lives is just phenomenal. One way to look at uncertainty is to think about the known knowns, the known unknowns, and the unknown unknowns. In business, we are all kind of prepared for the known knowns. For example, as simple as oil price going up or down in Middle East, every company will probably have well thought out plans for it every year. The other end of the spectrum are the unknown unknowns. You have no clue of what might happen and when it might happen. For example, the tsunami and then the Fukushima nuclear reactor in Japan. You can't really plan for that. The magic is in the middle, the known unknowns, where there are a lot of things you could plan, you could look at. You don't know when they will happen, at what intensity they would happen. I think COVID was one of them for us. Although a lot of people put it in the unknown unknowns, actually it wasn't, because we had and still have a full business continuity planning or BCP manual, and in that was a chapter seldom looked at called Epidemic and Pandemic. But as the sounds of, or the news and information around COVID was building up in January, February of 2020, we actually pulled that out and literally removed dust from that and started thinking around it. And by Feb 26th, internally in our company, we declared it that a pandemic is coming. For a reference, WHO declared it on March 11th. And we started our planning and journey on many facets, or all facets that you can think of. And one of them was actually calling up Mashreq Bank, who were very good in helping our financial planning for the kind of circumstances that the world would face. So I think it's more like, only the paranoid survive, but in the end, it's also luck favors the brave, but it favors the prepared. 2017, as UAE and Saudi Arabia were launching VAT, we took the opportunity to also digitize our entire source to procure to pay system, and obviously also roll out VAT. As you can imagine, this is amongst the most complex because it cuts across all your ERP systems, across countries, it has departments involved, right end, and it ends at each point of sale machine. And for these two countries, give or take, more than 10,000 point of sale machines. So I use a technique called pre-mortem. And as the word suggests, it's the opposite of a post-mortem, which happens when somebody dies or something fails. So in this case, it's a workshop with 100 plus people, everybody who's impacted by the project or the new solution, who's impacting the new solution, the core team, you name it, every department that has to be there is there. And we open up with declaring that this major transformation project has failed. It's in the national newspapers to add a little bit of drama. And now the world is asking, the board is asking, how come Landmark, such a well-run company, has failed to implement it? This then allows everybody to kind of go into a very different mode because there is no room for defensiveness. Each person, each department is asked that we're going to attack you as if you did not do your job or something went wrong because of what you did not do or did not anticipate. It's not happened, so don't feel defensive, so nobody needs to be polite. And I can tell you, I've done this multiple times, and this exercise completely transforms the way people take a critical look. Nobody is hiding behind or in water cooler saying, these people cannot do it, IT can't do it, HR can't do it, finance will make this mistake, tax will make this mistake. There is no such thing. We have breakout groups, and this day-long workshop, you end up having a log of thousands and thousands of points of failure. And then starts an exercise on, okay, now how will you mitigate that? Now, this mitigation doesn't necessarily get recorded on the day, but discussions start happening. But essentially, every department or person has to then go back and take a critical look, and you'll be surprised how many new failure points, touch points, cross-departmental issues that pop up, that generally you find all pop up after they've said go live. So clearly a fantastic technique, and we used it thoroughly in the rollout of VAT. And the result is we had a huge kind of a crisis room set up on midnight of 2017, and post midnight, after an hour, the leader who was leading this called me saying, there's something wrong. I said, what happened? He said, there is nobody calling. I said, maybe that's a great thing. And that's what it was. At stroke of midnight, 2017, 10,000 point of sale machines roared to life, and every single one of them had the perfect setup for VAT. It may sound very trivial, but when you implement it across the company, across system, with so many people in the mix and having zero failure, I think it helps prove that the technique perhaps helped, because we know every other system we launch, there are challenges. So I'm quite a big believer. For a lot of our, almost all the big major mega projects that I'm involved in, we kind of help do this. We've done it for our biggest automated warehouse in Jafsa. We did a similar exercise that was so huge, it was a 3-day exercise. We are right now just recently done it for our financial ERP rollout, and hopefully we will have one more kind of a Six Sigma flawless execution. For any leader, I think the 3 most important things are people, and people. If you get that right, everything else happens automatically. I've been fortunate to have kind of grown up in very people-centric companies, Procter and Gamble, Cadbury's, and now Landmark. And one of the things I personally do is I have a very simple formula. In any conversation with a person about his or her career, next move within the company, or even outside at times, I put the person first, then the company, and then myself. And I think it's inverted for a lot of people, where they think of themselves first, and then the company, and then the person, not realizing that your team members are far more intelligent, perceptive, and knowledgeable than what you think. So it's always better to be very, very honest and really put them first, because that's the best thing anyway. That's what's most important. And you end up with people actually coming back to you, which gives a great feeling about the culture you have, about how you're helping people achieve their personal and professional goals. And I think having that intense focus is what I feel is quite important. And as a people leader, I feel I'd spend 50% of my time on people. That's about the Homo sapiens. The next unique thing about what I feel I've been driving, and I've stumbled upon it, is about Silicon sapiens, a term I have kind of coined, which is all about technology coming in and helping humans in their work. So we started our Robotic Process Automation Center of Excellence in 2017. I think, yes, we all are now living in the age of when AI will it replace you? Perhaps it's better to say that it's someone with AI's help might replace you. So it's better to get on that kind of journey much faster. So I think it's about people and technology, and the right balance, right mix can really help drive the business, help the teams, and that probably is the unique style I have. See, when you look at ESG, it's a much more holistic view of the business than just a pure financial view. I'm a big believer that carbon statements will become even more important than just pure financial statements. It's already starting to happen. And no industry, including ours, can hush away their impact on the environment. For us, 120 billion garments are made every year around the world, globally, for 8 billion inhabitants. 30% are worn only once. 1% is recycled. And every second, a container of fashion is going into landfills. So clearly this linear way of take, make, waste is not going to sustain us. So we've built a very holistic sustainability framework. It all started with our brand Splash, and we've got our framework now as sustainable products, sustainable operations, and sustainable customer journeys. One of the key things that one realizes being the CFO and stepping into sustainability is that actually if you remove dollars, you end up removing carbon. And that's great, because every business is continuously trying to remove costs, and if you do it intelligently, you actually are able to reduce your impact. At least that's how one gets started, and then a lot more has to be done. One of our key initiatives last year was the creation of Landmark's own textile recycling facility in Dubai. It is a pilot, but more to inspire the nation, the industry, the whole ecosystem to go for circularity, where old clothes, excess inventory, pre-loved clothes from customers are converted into fiber, and the fiber shipped back into our supply chain, manufacturing it into new products. And that's what is real true circularity. Obviously our customers are taking note, they feel that our brands, which are leading brands, are now affordable, sustainable products they can enjoy.